I'm Annie MacLeod. I am a singer-songwriter originally from Timmins, Ontario, and I live in Moose Jaw. I was something of a late bloomer. I was very, very shy growing up. Kept to myself. So I was, I think, in my late 20s when a friend kind of convinced me to do a fundraiser for cancer research. And I couldn't really say no to that. She had a son who passed away from cancer, unfortunately. So once she asked me, I knew I had to do it. And that was my first time singing live. And I was terrified, but it went, actually the feedback I got was so encouraging, and I've been hooked ever since. Growing up, I always loved to sing, and my mom says I would kind of make fun of singers like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey, and she said, but you sound just like them. But I didn't think it was any big deal. You know, I sang at home and in the shower and that kind of stuff. And I got a guitar when I was about 13, and I would just play alone in my bedroom. I grew up in, the grunge era. I was heavily into that. So I was just very moody and by myself all the time in my room listening to Nirvana and that kind of stuff. And, but yeah, I didn't think anyone would actually want to hear me sing. So I just kept to myself for a long time. I've released about 3 singles so far. It's kind of slow going right now because I don't have a lot of knowledge of the business side of things. I really just love to create music. I love to sing. I love to write songs. And the rest is a bit of a mystery to me, and I'm really just learning as I go right now. It seems like once you do anything beyond just writing songs, it gets very overwhelming very quickly after that. And it's like, where do I start? What do I do first? What do I do next? And then I get overwhelmed and I just quit for a while and go back to singing and writing songs in my bedroom. So yeah, I'm learning as I go. My only goal in music is to get to a place where I have a steady income of some kind, even if it's as much as I would make doing a minimum wage job, just so I can focus on music and make that my job. That's really my only goal right now. I'm inspired mostly by just the tiny little things that we all have in common. Most of my songs aren't about anything major. I'm not very political in my songwriting. For some reason, I don't write about major earth-shattering issues. It's just little things, little emotions that anyone can relate to. I write a lot about just little moments in time that you didn't really appreciate at the time, but that were really special. I write about just things from my childhood. More than anything, I'm inspired by just the little things that all people have in common.
Told a lie, and that wasn't nice. Gave me all you had, or so I thought. Jumped at all you had to sell. Should've browsed before I bought. Now my heart is full. I don't know what my aching arms aren't nearly full enough. Try to tell myself that my compliance is only 'cause I'm deep in love. But is it love or is it science? It ain't felt good in weeks. Guess I'll pack up and leave. After all, I'm only in it for the dopamine. For the dopamine. For the dopamine. got me through. Rain or shine, you could get me high. Now I'm crashing to the ground. Guess it's time to say goodbye. Time to say goodbye. Ain't felt good in weeks. Guess I'll pack up and leave. After all, I'm only in it for the dopamine. For the dopamine. For the dopamine. My aching arms aren't full enough. Was it ever love? You'll never know what you've done. Time for me to run. Felt like love at once, but I won't fall twice. My body told a lie, and that wasn't nice. Gave me all you had, or so I thought. Let you play your game with me, but I did it. I did it, I did it, I did it for the dopamine, for the dopamine, for the dopamine, for the dopamine.
The first song I performed is called Dopamine. It's a bit of I wouldn't say bitter song, but it's almost an anti-love song. It's all about when you're getting over someone who maybe isn't as into you as you are into them, and you know they're not good for you and you need to get away. Sometimes it's good to just remind yourself it's not necessarily love, it's just that it's a chemical brain reaction. And I know there's more to it than just dopamine, but that's what sounded good in the song, so I decided to call it Dopamine, and the hook is I'm only in it for the dopamine. So once those good brain chemicals stop flowing, haven't felt good for a while, I'm done. And it's time to move on. So yeah. Most songs I've written start with a little melody in my head. I'll just be sitting there going, is that something already? Is that a song? No, I don't think I've heard it before. Maybe it's a song starting. And then I'll ask someone, what does this sound like? What kind of song does this sound like to you? And they'll tell me kind of the mood that it evokes, and I go from there. And yeah, usually it's a melody first, and then I work lyrics into that melody that go with the mood of it. I think I do suffer from, what is it called, imposter syndrome, that a lot of artists have. I didn't know that was a thing until just recently, and I thought, oh, maybe I have that. Where I kind of think, well, yeah, I like writing songs and I like singing, but I'm not a real artist. Those are people that I admire and see on TV, and people whose music I listen to, and I'm just me. So I'm just now starting to call myself an artist. Yeah. I have a little room in my house that is empty. It has no furniture in it. And I won't let anyone put furniture in it. And for some reason, going in there and singing in this very reverby, empty little room just really gets the creative juices flowing. Yeah, I think it's important to have a little space that's all about creativity, where all of life's little distractions and all the negative things, you can just leave them outside for a little bit and just focus on, in my case, my music. Yeah, for me, community is just somewhere where you feel like you have something in common and where you belong. And for me, the music community in Saskatchewan has been a really big deal, because when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot of friends and I never felt like I really fit in anywhere. Once I got out into the music community in Saskatchewan, they just really welcomed me with open arms. And suddenly I did feel like I kind of belonged somewhere, and that was the first time ever. So yeah, I'm glad I got out and started experiencing the community here.
Thought I saw a little flicker of remembering in your frown, then realized it was only from the sun rays beaming down. Hurried across the street before your eyes could reach for mine, afraid my present self would mingle with the me of better times. I recall our first apartment, a liquor store attached. We left behind our hands about the luxuries we lacked. The hours passed, daylight seeped between faded sheets we used as curtains in the days before we cared about such things. And now I sit here wondering how so many years have come and gone since our beginning, when we didn't care if everything was wrong, except where we were, except where we were, except where we were, except where we were. Oh. We didn't do a lot, far as naked eyes could tell. They couldn't see what we could see. We guarded it so well. I felt a little sorry for everyone but you and me, as I poured the steaming kettle and we settled down to read. Now I sit here wondering how so many years have come and gone since our beginning, when we didn't care if everything was wrong, except where we were, except where we were, except where we were, except where we were. Oh. Youth is wasted on the young, they say. Now I know it's true. Can't imagine basking in your glow with nothing else to do. Now I sit here wondering how so many years have come and gone. Remember when we didn't care, everything was wrong, except where we were, except where we were, except where we were, except where we were. Oh.
The second song I performed is called Except Where We Were, and all that one is about is first loves, or it doesn't have to be first love, but just in your youth when you're in love with someone and the only thing that matters is you and them. Doesn't matter where you are as long as you're together. The rest of the world doesn't exist. And specifically running into that person who's no longer in your life, but once you look at them, all that comes flooding back. To anyone just thinking about getting into music, I would tell them, don't compare yourself to anyone. One thing that got in my way when I first started out was just browsing through YouTube videos, and we have access to just everyone in the world who's making music right now. And you're gonna find so many people who are better than you at what you're trying to do. And you can't compare yourself to them or you won't get anywhere. You just have to kind of look within instead and do the best you can do and do what you're passionate about, and just focus on a small circle of people or your music community and get feedback from them. The next step in my music journey is to try and break out of my shell a little bit, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm hoping to learn about social media, how to utilize it properly. It's a fine line between just posting too much and annoying people and nobody knowing that you even exist. I think you have to have some kind of social media presence nowadays or you just don't exist. But I'm a very, very private person and I struggle with trying to put myself out there. And so yeah, I'm taking it one little step at a time right now and just trying to get used to social media and utilize it as best I can. I guess for anyone starting out too, take criticism with a grain of salt. Because when I first started trying to sing in front of people, I was about 20 years old and, like I said, extremely shy. And I went to a barbecue, like a boyfriend at the time. I went to a barbecue of his and with his family, and they convinced me to sing a song and play guitar. And I was so shy that no one could hear me, and I was like, and someone said, "Oh God, could you turn the radio back on?" And it just absolutely destroyed me, and I didn't. And like, okay, that's not for me. I'm not meant to do this. That was horrible. I'm never doing that again. And it was about another 10 years before I was even brave enough to attempt it again. So yeah, I guess to anyone who's just starting out, you're gonna get criticized. Some people won't like you, and just keep going.